start the meeting and then transfer it. Can I ask who has control of the meeting right now?
I heard her say something, but that it was started, so I don't know what's involved.
Okay.
I don't know if it's recording or not. I haven't seen anything that says it is.
Well, no, I think Jen McGrail's here, so we're not going to record it.
Okay.
Oh, yes. Okay, I see her.
Yeah, and yeah, Maria seemed to have started the meeting and left.
Okay.
Oh yeah, so Jen just posted a note that she's going to record it and take care of that, so we don't have to do that.
Okay, excellent. Okay, with that, I'd like to call the meeting to order at 9 o'clock. I note that all members of the committee are present, as well as Bourne Community TV. I do not see any visitors or any residents who have signed on, so I'm not going to describe the rules for engagement for anybody who wishes to participate. I'm going to move forward, and the first order of business is review of minutes. And Wendy, can you take the lead on this? And I have to apologize to everybody. I unexpectedly had to leave town for 10 hours yesterday for unfortunately the funeral of a neighbor, and wasn't able to read anything. Wendy, are you okay?
Well, it's been one of those days. There was an accident on the highway. My laptop was dead when I got to the coffee shop. Now I'm having a hard time opening anything, and I'm lucky that I even have you. So,
okay.
Short answer, I'm going to probably end up listening to the tape later too, but I will do the best I can. I sent out the minutes to everybody a couple of days ago, so if anybody has corrections, you can tell me what they are, and I will make sure they get in.
Wendy, with regard to the 27th meeting, and when we looked at it last night, my wife was having surgery on the 15th. There are some large errors in the order of the way things are with my comments regarding Comcast and my discussions with Mr. Mail of the State Department of Telecommunications and Cable, and with also the representative from Comcast, Mr. Michael Porterfield. So what I'm doing is I took your text and I'm rewriting it. And so I would suggest that we not approve these minutes until I can get this stuff to you and you can put it in there, because it's extensive. There were just a number of items which kind of got crossed in there and they're not quite correct. So there's like Mr. Mail and Mr. Porterfield got mixed up, and the order in which events occurred got mixed up. So I will do that, and I'm working on it right now and send it to you today. And we can approve the 27th on the next meeting.
Is it, I'm not trying to be argumentative here, but is that really necessary in terms of communicating with the board, who called who first and then what happened?
Yes, it is, because it's all wrong.
Because I did have that long thing you sent me a while back, and I was working from that.
I understand. It looks like some stuff maybe got cut and pasted into the wrong place. It's hard to understand because I had
it was hard to understand.
Conversations going on at the same time. But I will. I've taken your text and I'm just cutting it up and moving a few things around, and I will send it to you probably late this morning, and then we can go ahead with it, because I think it's important, because this issue may come up should the board decide to pursue any of this with Comcast.
Okay.
With that, I'm going to take the chairman's prerogative, and I'm going to defer review of the minutes. And I just, as a parenthetical, I want to say that thanks to Wendy and thanks to everybody's reviews, we get our minutes in much faster than almost all of the other volunteer committees in the town. The legally ones that are established in the bylaws or whatever, they tend to be a little more responsive because they have legal requirements, like the Conservation Commission, et cetera. But there are other committees out there that haven't, that are months behind on getting minutes out.
Bob, what about the other two? I mean, do we need to pass on March 13th and April 10th? I think John was only talking about one of them.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let's go ahead and and review those. Let's start with the 13th. And I'm going to take any comments. And again, I'm going to abstain only because I have not had a chance to read these in detail. Apologies to Wendy. I was expecting to do that yesterday and I lost the whole day.
Yeah, well, it must
That happens
be.
to all of us. It's called life.
It's happening to me, certainly. So,
Yeah.
They look fine to me. I'm fine with March 13.
okay.
What I
Okay.
felt looked okay too.
That'd be April 13th. No, it
Right.
wouldn't. March 13th? Oh, we
March
did
13th.
that.
No, we didn't do that one yet. Okay.
Okay.
As far as I know. Okay.
Let me see it was in your list. Maybe I listed it wrong. It's
April 3rd is the one we were missing.
there's one in your list that you mailed out, March 13th, 2025. I reviewed it and it looked good to me. It's also listed on the agenda.
Okay.
So I'm
Which,
okay
of course,
with
I
it.
cannot open right now, but okay.
All
And
right, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of March 13th.
okay. Thank you.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay. I'm going to do a roll call vote, starting with John,
Aye.
Jed,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Wendy.
Aye.
That was I. And I abstain because I have not had a chance to read them. But the motion passes 4 in favor and 1 abstention.
Okay.
Just in chronological order, the April 3rd recording on Zoom was lost, and I don't think we have anything to prepare minutes from. Jed, have you had experience with this formally on another committee?
No, I do know that this happened, something happened at one point with us. I know they audited us and wanted us to do minutes anyway.
Yeah, that was minutes of the I think it was the Cape
Oh,
Cod
it's a joint
Technology.
meeting. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, that's all resolved and done
That
with.
one
Yeah.
is resolved.
Yeah. So I don't know. I haven't. No, I haven't.
Okay. Wendy, if you will just make a note in your minutes for today that we discussed the lost Zoom recording for the April 3rd meeting, and we have not come to any resolution on how we should proceed. And we're going to request guidance from Anne Marie about what to do in that case.
Okay.
Okay, and
Sure.
we will leave it at that for the time being.
For what it's worth, is apropos of this discussion, I had a really fun talk with Jen yesterday, and the short answer is she generally checks the town website for the calendar. So because I said, who tells you when we're meeting? When we met regularly once a week, that was easy, but now it's a little bit more irregular. And she said she checks the town website, but what I've discovered is that even though the agenda gets forwarded to Maria timely, because we see it at the end of our meetings, it doesn't always get posted in time for Jen to see it. So I asked, would it be helpful to you if we CC'd you on that email? And she said that would be wonderful.
Okay,
So
I can do that.
great. Do you have her email? Because if you
Oh,
don't,
yeah.
I do. Okay, cool.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, moving forward to the April 10th meeting.
Yeah, fine with me. I didn't see any issues.
Yeah, looks good to me too.
Ray.
Okay, I will entertain a motion to approve those.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Roll call vote. Jed,
Yes.
John,
Aye.
Brian,
Yes.
Wendy,
Aye.
and the chair, me, abstains for lack of ability to read it in a timely manner. Okay, that motion passes 4-0-1. Okay. Moving on to our agenda for today. Let me just pull this up. Let me put this up so I can type at the same time. Okay, we are back to old and ongoing, any public correspondence. Anne Marie isn't on board and she hasn't told me about any, so I presume there are none. Old and ongoing business, BEAD and gap funding. The first item is that I sent you all the select board's revision of the letter that we submitted for the three of you who weren't on the call, I should say on the Zoom connection for the select board meeting on Tuesday night. You've seen the changes. They removed a lot of the details about where we thought the problems were, and essentially said that those could come up in the meeting. So we will see where that goes. They are probably going to put together some kind of a committee that will be led probably by MJ. Hopefully, Anne Marie will be the other select board member who will attend. And they want 2 members from our committee and Marlene McCullum will also participate when and wherever that meeting is. And
So timeline wise, isn't that effectively we're going to miss out on BEAD?
Again, we are at the mercy somewhat of when MBI decides to respond. I pointed out that in the meeting. I said that BEAD 2, I specifically said that time is of the essence. BEAD 2 is coming up. Until we have a firm understanding of whether Comcast intends to meet the specifications we said before, and they provide a very specific description of what kind of service that Bourne is going to receive. We are certainly dead in the water. They and other companies are dead in the water for any response for B2, which is for which the solicitation will open imminently, I said. And I just got a nod of acknowledgement and a shrug of the shoulder. I won't say that, but there was no verbal response to say. But Marlene did get the letter out. What you saw was a draft that was sent from MJ to Marlene to get on letterhead and get out the door. So we await what's going on there. I am going to, Jed, for the next meeting, whenever that is, I am going to put an item in there specifically that says under that item 2, or maybe in response to that letter, SciTac preparation for that meeting. I think that's appropriate. And we'll discuss scheduling on that once we know what MBI's response is. The other, essentially, that was the extent of what we got on the agenda. I was hoping to have other items on the agenda, and I'll tell you about that when we get to them further down on the list.
So just to be clear, Bob, we're talking about a meeting with the select board and MBI. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, because this is not the annual review that we talked about.
No, that I'll get to that further down under item G, and the Cliff Notes answer to that is tabled indefinitely. Okay, and I'll discuss that in a minute, a few minutes, I should say. I don't know what else to say. We are totally at the behest of the MBI. Maybe they draw Comcast into the meeting, or maybe they schedule a second meeting with Comcast. I have no idea. This is a letter that luckily it didn't have to go through the town council because there's no legal implications for this at all, since we have no power and the select board has really no power here. It's just hoping that they grant a meeting as a courtesy. Anyway, anybody else have comments on that? Okay. Hearing none on that, I'm going to move on to the regional approach to broadband. I unfortunately said I was going to attend and then did not attend the Tech Council meeting yesterday. Brian, you were on board. Can you just summarize what they talked about?
Yeah, so we had two of Marky's team were on the call, the Mark Lanigan, who we know well, and his DC counterpart. They talked about what's going on in Washington right now, and it's basically hard to keep up because everything changes constantly, and there's lots of rumors flying around. It's hard to separate rumors from what's actually changes. So we honestly don't really know yet what could change in Bede because so many different things are being bandied about. It's hard to say what's going to happen. They also talked about a little bit about the AI Bill of Rights bill that Markey put in. So it was mostly good to know that like nothing's changed yet. So we just have to kind of wait and see. And no one really can predict the future on this.
Okay. Let's just fingers crossed, I guess, and we'll just stay engaged, stay informed. I guess that's all we can do. The next item is Mass Broadband Coalition, and I have had no communications at all with them. Brian, have you heard anything?
Silence from them.
Yep. Again, liaison with other towns since last week. Jed, have you heard anything more from Falmouth or anything?
They met, I guess, 2 weeks ago today. They're still continuing a wind down process. They're looking at various avenues, but it looks like they're trying to wind down the MLP and then either form a town committee or merge with the EDIC or something, but very little going on there.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing else from anybody else that I can see.
Okay. Brian, have you had any communications with the tribe at all? The Mashpee tribe?
Nothing in the last week, but I've been pretty full on some other things. So
Okay. They would have probably copied me, and I have not seen anything.
yeah, nothing's come to my inbox, that's for sure.
Okay. Digital equity plan and implementation. Again, we've seen Falmouth's program, et cetera. I have heard nothing from Liz about how the town to proceed, and she would have gone through, probably have gone through Anne Marie, and Anne Marie would communicate something immediately for us. Okay. The next is American Connection Corps, and I have been remiss in contacting the new person who's in charge of the AmeriCorps cadre that is managed by the county. A lot has come off my plate, so I'll be able to. I'll try to make that call later today to see if they have any interest at all. There's a brand new kind of administrative superstructure in the county government. There's a new administrator, so we'll and a new director for this. So I'll see if there's any interest in the chain of command for housing that. There was the solicitation, and I have not heard anything more, that came out from MBI looking for companies that would provide navigator, et cetera, services. I don't know what the status of that solicitation is. If we have time, we perhaps can contact MBI to see if they have any interest in posting money to the county to fund an American Connection Corps person to actually accommodate digital navigation and other services that our town and perhaps other towns don't want to administer. Any other ideas on how to do that? Again, the former administrator was really cool to this. And I would guess if the new one came on board, she would look through the files and see maybe some note that I called and they were not interested. So we shall see where that goes. Okay.
It's high ROI and it's paid for, so we should push it every year, even if it's on deaf ears.
Okay. I'll try to push again. The next item is the Barlow's Landing cell tower. Again, application's been withdrawn, so there's no activity on that.
I'll point out that it's still active on the website, and there's 2 more comments that have been posted since our last meeting, both from the members of the Pocasset Golf Club.
At the funeral yesterday, just as an aside, I did meet one member who is a commenter, and he posted that, well, he basically said that he thought this was an active activity to foster these kinds of letters from the, I guess, the board or whatever, the golf club.
Yeah, it looks that way because
Yeah,
they're all similar. They all make the same point. Well,
Yep.
point. There's 3 points they make. They're all saying the same thing.
Yep. Okay. Okay. Poll attachment review. I have heard nothing new on that at all. One would hope we get some information that comes out in a timely manner that's useful to any of the companies who might be bidding on BEAD 2 or something like that. We shall see. Comcast Cable TV. Again, you recall that we had submitted a request for the select board to deal with a long list of issues. And once we passed March 31st, I was in communication with MJ and with copies to Jen, and I also suggested that, at this point they were in non-compliance with the terms of the at least one clause in the license, and the town should officially notify them of that. And apparently, once I used the word non-compliance with a contract or something, it immediately went to the town council, okay, for review of both the matter and the review of our letter. And the town council made the decision that the select board and the administration should limit any contacts with Comcast specifically to that non-compliance issue, and everything else that we brought up that were potentially non-compliance or might be matters the state should better handle should be either completely eliminated from any discussion or deferred to other agencies.
Yeah,
So
Bob?
yes, John, go ahead. Jed, I'm seeing.
Yeah, so just to be clear, we're talking about the equipment upgrades at the Bourne Community TV, where Comcast was supposed to provide some digital encoders and also equipment to make 1-channel high definition. It was all supposed to be delivered 3 years after the signing of the contract, which turns out was March 20th.
Mhm.
And I went back and looked. So my understanding is they put a letter together to voice a non-compliance situation on that one particular item.
Exclusively to that one particular item, yes, and that has gone off. I did had communications with Jen, and Mike Galla has been in communication with them, with Bourne Community TV.
Oh.
So so a letter from a lawyer saying non-compliance got probably the attention of another lawyer, and things happened. Okay.
Can I just ask a question? So what they're saying is the town council recommended that we not invoke the annual review clause in the contract with Comcast?
In this letter, just in this letter.
Okay.
Just in
This
this
letter
letter.
wasn't for an
Okay.
annual review, it was a violation notice. That was
Right.
the annual
Oh, I
review
see.
separate.
Okay, I understand. Right, because my main concern is that judging from the response that I got from the state agency regarding the NBC Sports Boston and Nesson stuff, it seems like they were, let's just say, non-committal. And I think my opinion is we're better off trying to deal with it on a local level first, in terms of the fact that we have some specific clauses in the contract regarding service and other items that we wanted to address in the annual review meeting, which is not necessarily a non-compliance thing. So is that still possibly on the table? We could still ask for that meeting, which is spelled out in the contract?
We could, I think at that point, they're not going to do anything until they're sure. This is my personal opinion. They have full resolution on the BCTV equipment issue. It's
Okay.
installed, etc. And at that point, once we get confirmation, I think that they're in compliance. I would ask. We already have a draft letter on the table. I would, send a message and just ask that we put that back on the agenda for them. For the select board.
Okay. Yep. I got
Having
it.
said that, there's town meeting coming up, there's town elections coming up, and they do not have another scheduled meeting until May 15th. Okay, there's no select board meetings at all before that. So there's a month window where maybe Comcast can really move on the installation of the equipment. And if that happens, then as soon as I know that has happened and get a confirmation of that from Jen, perhaps, I will immediately send a request back to the select board that they, do an all select board with that letter and say, gee, we request that you move forward with these other items.
Okay, very good, sir. Thank you.
That's about all I can do.
Right. I was just I understand now
Yep.
what the council's concern was. I
Yep.
get it. I just was trying to make it absolutely clear as to what was going on.
The real concern was just specifically that if we had an annual review meeting, which is a posted open meeting and part of a select board agenda, and people got up and started making comments about Comcast that could go all over the landscape, some of which might get involved with the BCTV issue, which could then trip some kind of a legal action, either from us or from them. And the attorney basically said this would muddy the issue until that is resolved, and I can't disagree.
I get it now.
Okay.
I understand. Thank you.
So
Yeah.
Bob, Jen just posted that nothing's been scheduled yet, but she'll keep us informed.
Excellent. Okay, thank you, Jen. To the extent that anything happens here, Jen, just for your information, you probably ought to send a comment to all select board with a copy to Marlene and to the town council from your point of view as the receiver of this equipment. Going through us at this point is kind of irrelevant, since this is now, with that letter, it's effectively a legal matter.
Yeah, she said she got it. She got the
Will
message.
do. Will do. I saw that. Thank you, Jen. Jen, thank you for posting all of these recordings too. Extremely helpful. Okay, so we've touched on the annual review meeting. We have Brian, would you like to get us up to speed? We have a citizen posted an open meeting non-compliance complaint about the Mass Tech board, and my last communication that I had heard about that is that they asked for a delay in response until their board can actually meet and deal with the problem, or discuss it at least. I have not heard anything more.
The state granted the request.
Okay. So again, they only meet quarterly. I should point out that Yvonne Howe, is that her name? She's above Ms. Kirk as the agency where Mass Tech and MBI sit.
She was a cabinet member. She's a secretary.
She is Secretary Howe just resigned or announced her resignation. So
Yep, and one of her, I guess her top lieutenant is now the acting secretary. I forget her name.
Okay, so there's some I won't say instability, but there's some changes at the top there that might trickle down to other policies here. We'll keep you posted as we hear any more. With regard to one touch, make ready legislation and dig once, just to let everybody know, I was at the meeting, would have been Tuesday, at 5 o'clock that Senator Fernandez chaired at the big auditorium at the Academy regarding an update on the bridges. And I ran into Jack Richardson, who is Fernandez's aide, and they were talking about all of the planning for infrastructure, et cetera. And I said, as all of these roadways get ripped up and the new bridges get put in place, this is a perfect opportunity to implement kind of dig once policies, as they put enough empty conduit in that are going to run both across both bridges, along the roads, et cetera. So there's an opportunity for them to have a good application of this, at least this policy, if you will, even if it isn't in law. And he just gave me a nod, so I just put a bug in his ear. So we'll see where that goes. Anything else on the legislation, Brian?
Sorry, I've been sick as a dog, so I haven't been able to put together too many comments, but I'm not sure if actually putting conduit is in there. They more have a warning period that you have to give people so they can put their own stuff in. I may have to reread it whether conduit's included. Required.
I'll just point out, Bob, I did send an email out before the meeting that with some links. One is that it has been officially made a bill, and so I put a link to the actual website for the bill. And then the other thing is that it's been assigned to the Joint Committee on Telecommunication, the Utilities, and Energy. And on that committee are Dylan Fernandez and Julian Sir. None of the reps on the Cape that I could tell are on the committee, just our two senators. And there's no hearing scheduled at this time.
Just for, those two districts basically encompass all or most or all of the Cape. So
yeah. So on the Senate side, we're covered.
Right.
But on the House side, I didn't recognize any of the names. There's only 6 or 7 people on that committee. So it seems like Dylan Fernandez would be the conduit here.
Okay.
But what committee was that they got assigned to?
It's the Joint Committee, and I think it's Telecommunications, Utilities, and Energy. There's a link in the email that I sent out to the committee. If you hit the link, it'll show you all the members. And then there's another link to the bill, and it shows you the status of the bill. And if any hearings get scheduled, they'll show up on that website.
Okay, thank
The
you.
biggest problem with the way it's written is they've written the dig once as may adopt instead of shall adopt. So it's going to end up still being town by town having to adopt these rules. So that's probably the biggest issue with the bill. There's no forced conduit in here. So,
frankly, if we have any communications with the telecom companies, we ought to just stress that it's in their interest for them to lobby for this. Again, one of the reasons I guess the 2 Cape senators were put on this is because 14 of the 15 towns are going to get ripped up, all or in part, to put in sewers over the next. The schedule could be 20 years, but in any case, there's going to be a lot of digging going on if it isn't going on already. And this is a once in a lifetime or once in a generation opportunity to actually do this.
The ISPs are going to oppose this, honestly. The existing ISPs are going to fight this tooth and nail. There's no scenario where they're going to try to let this go by. So asking them to support it, I don't think is going to get anywhere.
Okay. Well, we're not in a position to actually do that. So Yeah, but I would guess they've whatever infrastructure they have, they've got they know how they're going to do it, and they don't need necessarily underground conduit. That's life. Okay. Nothing further to say on that. Okay. With regard to the next meeting date, I don't see anything that would trigger the need for a meeting until we get a response back from MBI about a joint meeting. I presume we'll get some advance notice of that. Would it
The
be
meeting would have to happen quickly because, you know, if bead round 2 is coming and MBI is serious about finalizing this, you know, it would have to happen fairly quickly.
um, you would think that? I would think that. Um, who knows? You know, we may it might just get swept to the side. Again, this is a letter coming from a chair of a select board, so it will get some attention. But what I will do is I will that would be a posted meeting. I will guarantee that you know, the minute I hear about it, I will call a timely meeting of us to decide exactly how to get our ducks in a row prior to that meeting. If that is okay, I think we should have the full committee on that, so that would have to be a posted meeting. And at this point, I don't see. I would hope I would get some advance notice for that, and give everybody here 48 hours notice before we deal with that. Is that okay with everybody? I don't see any other way around it. I would.
Well, yeah, I mean, as far as that goes, I mean, we could have a meeting on just that subject.
Mm-hmm.
I think in the meantime, though, we should probably post an agenda for our regular meeting at some point in the future.
Okay.
Right? I mean, I don't know. I mean, it just so that we have it on the calendar and we all know to be there.
What do you suggest? I'm open to
Oh, I'm thinking a
suggestions.
month
2 weeks,
out.
a month out.
Or
Okay.
maybe 3 weeks.
3 weeks puts us to, like, I don't have my calendar up
May
here.
8th,
8th, I think.
or May 15th.
Okay.
Okay.
It's almost 4 weeks out.
Yeah, May 15th is 4 weeks out. Did I say the select board was May 15th? It's probably May 13th.
May 13th. So this
Yeah.
might even be a better reason to put it on the 15th. We'll, you know, pick up anything the select board has discussed.
Okay. Again, and the other action that will come up is if I do hear that Comcast has fulfilled all of its obligations to Bourne Community Television.
That's a good one, Bob.
Is okay. We shall see. Again, you know, they got a letter of non-compliance from the town.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. We'll see. We'll see.
And if-
I'm obviously skeptical, but I hope
Okay.
they do. I really do.
And-
I think it'd be the best thing in the world if they did.
And as soon as they do, again, we've already sent this to the select board and voted to send that letter, that memo to the select board. I will resend it and note that the item just with regard to, I guess it was section 6 something or other in the 2022 contract has been fulfilled. So that is moot, but we would like the select board to move on all the other items that are on that that letter of recommendation.
Yep.
So I don't think we even need a vote for that.
Right. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't see anything else that's time critical. I think the 15th would work fine with the rest of these agenda items.
Okay. Let's go ahead and do that. And again, I'll work with Jed. If something else comes up in the meantime, we have a lot of chances to amend the this public notice that's a month out. If something else comes up, we can add that to the agenda, you know, within 48 hours or longer than 48 hours
as long
before
as,
that date.
you know, the only caveat is we've got to give town hall time because it doesn't turn around quickly.
Mhm.
I generally felt that the Friday before is kind of should be our deadline.
Right.
Even noontime Friday before the meeting to give the town hall a time to get the email and post it, so.
Yeah. Just if she happens to be listening, or anybody from the town administration happens to be listening, they do generally a great job with posting these. And if you go into town hall, the bulletin boards that they have there for posting future meeting agenda right next to the town clerk's office is absolutely packed with agendas. And so they've got a number of balls in the air, and they do an excellent job in complying with the open meeting requirement. So
yeah,
many
I'm just
thanks.
saying that we shouldn't push the envelope on this. We
Right,
shouldn't
I
be
agree.
sending him at 3 o'clock on Monday and expecting a posting by 9 o'clock on Tuesday. That's all.
Yeah, no, I do agree. I do agree. The one other time critical element there is that we will know what is on the select board's agenda by about 4 p.m. on Friday afternoon.
That's true.
So,
Yeah, right. So we
yes.
can react right then and there if we need to update our agenda for the 15th.
Right. Okay. With that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn, and everybody who celebrates it, have a great Easter. John, have a happy conclusion to the 8 days of Passover. And
Thank you.
okay. And with that, I'll take a vote, entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
John?
Second.
Moves? Okay. Jed seconds, I guess. John?
Aye.
Jed?
Aye.
Wendy?
Aye.
Brian?
Aye.
Okay, very good. And thank you all. And Wendy, will review that one errant minutes that John has corrections on, and I will try to get a resolution on what to do about the April 3rd non-recording. There might be somebody who's a real whiz with Zoom who can find it out there in the cloud someplace.
It's when I spent that hour talking to them on Zoom, trying to think of 8 ways to Sundays to retrieve that, the short answer is no.
Okay.
Too long, didn't read. But seriously, because when Anne Marie turned over the meeting and turned off her computer, recording stopped.
Okay. So it does not exist.
No,
Okay.
it doesn't. I mean, if she had just turned over the meeting for administrative purposes, but left her computer running, it would have continued to record. But
Or
she was
stop
Yeah.
the recording and let Jed or whoever took the helm then to restart a recording.
They don't allow that. We would have had to close the meeting and open a new meeting.
Okay.
They don't allow transfer of recording.
Right.
No matter how you try to work around it, they won't do it.
Right. And if Anne Marie had a cloud account, then it would have saved.
Well,
Would have kept recording according to what I saw. But if she doesn't, then and it's on her computer, then that's that.
When her computer's off, it's dead. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing is that as Jen said, she'd be more than happy to record these things if she knows it well enough ahead. At that week's, I think she was out of town, and there were like 11 other things going on, and they might not have been able to get to it anyway. But if she knows about it ahead of time, she felt that she could arrange for the town to record it also.
Yeah. Okay. Well, regarding that,
We'll do the
lessons
best we
learned.
can. Yeah.
So I'll contact the clerk's office for a reading from Barry on this, and we'll see where we go.
I also think there's some options to set the global settings for the government Zoom to force what recording policy they want. So that's also something they could look at
that
to
would be
make sure it
good.
doesn't happen to anybody if they
Okay.
set the policies correctly, so that across the board doesn't happen to anybody again.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I mean, I have a Zoom account, so
Okay.
if we had to, we could use mine. But
We'll discuss that later on. Anyway,
Okay.
I will pursue a resolution on where to put our mea culpa about that one officially for legal purposes, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
Okay, everybody, thank you very much. And we will see you in a month and probably hopefully communicate beforehand on progress on other issues.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, very good.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, folks.